to music first, always.
We are unstoppable.
Open the frontiers to make people meet people.
Music is not fireworks. Music is feeling.
You're good to go.
Thank you, vote for the music!
This is Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast.
Hello and welcome back to Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast. I'm Benjamin Widdybank.
And I'm Tadeusz.
Now today we're continuing our quickfire reviews of the Eurovision Song Contest 2024 with the second half of the second semi-final. And today we're going to be looking at Norway. We're not going to be looking at Song 14, which is the entry from Israel. This is due in part to Israel as a nation's disproportionate response to the Hamas terrorist attack which took place on October 7th, alongside their continual attempts to enter a song which reflected this politically, and repeated violations of the EBU's broadcasting code made by national broadcaster Can. In place of this review, before we move on to Norway, I would like to invite anyone who is listening to go to the website bit.ly/Eurofansgive, which gives links to plenty of organisations and places where, as a community, we can do our bit to help while Israel use this platform to try and artwash their atrocities. Thank you very much for listening. But moving on, we shall continue forward with Norway's entry for this year's Eurovision Song Contest. And that is Ulveham by Gåte.
Norway, with typical for them precision, checked out all the boxes to become the terrible darling, and they're going to become one. It's hard to find someone who wouldn't like Ulveham, and it's not going to be me either. Gåte did excellent job all the way. That probably is going to secure them the top 10 finish.
Well, yes, I think this is utterly brilliant, and if you've not seen this live, which I have, I had the pleasure of seeing them at the Malmö weekend pre-party, then you're missing out because it is absolutely breathtaking live. I would be really surprised if this did not come top 10. I think it has a hugely wide appeal. I think it's definitely the best rock entry we have in the contest this year. It's also got a huge, obviously, folk feel, and it's by a band with a really sort of cool image, which I think will absolutely capture people watching the show. For me, this is like the Norwegian version of Shum by Gåte, and I think it will end up getting quite a similar result.
Ulveham speaks of princesses, wolves, werewolves, dark magic, and many other very familiar items. It's not just a story, it's a tale. A fairy tale, if you wish. But fun and interesting that this fairy tale may be. Haven't we heard a fairy tale from Norway before?
Well, yes, quite, but I'm not sure many viewers will make that connection, specifically because this is sort of a dark type fairy tale, which doesn't even get across in the lyrics, but just in the mood and the feel, in that sort of twisted fairy tale. Whereas Alexander Rybak's fairy tale was very much sort of a wide-eyed teenage fantasy at a woman who seemed unbelievable and didn't exist. So absolutely, I don't think that's going to be any sort of problem here. And actually, I think this sort of fairy tale is actually far more on vogue than the other one, as of where we stand at the moment in sort of the current tastes in the music industry.
Their qualification to the final is also certain. The one thing that is not certain, however, is whether they can bring a victory. Norway did all their homework, but lacks the X factor. The one thing that would make it stand out from the crowd and make it the entry. They would be a serious contender if no one had found this X Factor this year, as has happened once or twice in Eurovision history. But this is not the case this year. We already have plenty of potential winning contenders. Why would Norway win?
Yes, as much as I like this, and I really, really do like this, by the way, it's very high in my ranking, I would have to agree, I don't think this is going to win the Eurovision Song Contest this year. It just doesn't have the extra something which is going, oh, this is a winner. But, you know, things could change, rehearsals can happen. However, because we have got a national final performance, which is a very polished, very slick national final performance, which is very likely not going to change much at all on stage in Malmö, it's probably going to basically be exactly the same thing. I think we can pretty much get an idea of exactly what this Eurovision performance will look like. So I don't think we're going to get any surprises there with Norway. It's only if other stuff falls back and surprisingly fails. But I don't think that's going to happen either. Top 10, very likely. I think that's almost a dead cert win. I can't see it happening. But I do really, really like this. So thank you there for listening to our quickfire review of Norway's entry for this year's Eurovision Song Contest. Tomorrow we'll be closing off the second half of the second semi-final with the Netherlands entry for the contest. And then, of course, we'll be continuing through once we've had a round of all of this half with the Big Five and Sweden as we head right up to the Eurovision first semi-final on the 7th of May, which is so very close now. It's incredibly exciting. I would also like to once again remind you, as I opened this episode with, that I implore you to visit the site bit.ly/Eurofansgive. But for now, please remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, or wherever else you might get your podcasts. That includes YouTube, where you can subscribe to us or leave a comment down below, as well as liking the video. You can also interact with our Q&As on Spotify. So thank you very much for listening, and remember to vote for the music.
This is to music first, always.
We are unstoppable.
open the frontiers to make people meet people.
Music is not fireworks. Music is feeling.
You're good to go.
Thank you, vote for the music!
This is Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast.